video gonna be 6 steps to getting your identity. Okay, 6 steps to getting to your identity. Now we in the day and age where a lot of people don't know where they stack up. They don't know what their identity is. Okay, and part of that is because we live in a society, we live in a particular type of culture where everybody tell you can do everything. Everybody tell you can be anything you want to. You can do whatever you want to. You can be whatever you want to. But then in the process, as people have gotten more freedoms to be able to attempt to do any and everything, okay, they really end up lost, okay, and depressed and not knowing which way to go, what thing to do. They don't know what they want to do, and so because they don't know what they want to do, because they're trying any and everything, they don't have no roots nowhere. Okay, so because they don't have no roots, okay, basically whoever come along and pull them, or whatever trend or whatever social thing is going on, they go out and do it. Okay, like people risking their lives to do a TikTok video. Okay, when you ain't grounded in your identity and you trying to find an identity, you're willing to risk your life doing a dumb TikTok prank. Okay, because you ain't rooted in who you are, what you're supposed to be, and so therefore you don't have a premise to tell yourself what you shouldn't be doing. Okay, so that's the foundation on why identity is so important. Okay, because when people know who they are and they know what they're supposed to be, then they have a real drive and purpose for living. But when you don't have that, it's hard. Okay, it's hard. Another point I want to bring up. Okay, another point I want to bring up is in the movie Total Recall. Okay, the 1990 movie. Okay, in the movie Total Recall, check this out now. This is how important identity is, and I'm gonna get to these 6 steps soon. In the movie Total Recall, okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger was in a situation where he thought he was living a regular life. Okay, he thought he was living a regular life, and then he started to discover, hey, something ain't right here. You know, I feel like I want to be a secret agent. I feel like I want to be some sort of spy or something like that, right? Okay, now check this out. This really the whole premise of the movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie, okay, was so deadly as a spy, okay, so formidable as a spy, right, that the enemies had to make him lose his memory, right? The enemies had to make him lose his memory so he would forget who he was. And once he forgot who he was, even though he had all these muscles and whatnot, he didn't even know how to use them muscles. He didn't know what he was. He just thought he was a regular guy working at a rock quarry. Okay? And that's what society has done to some of you all. Okay? It's caused some of you men, some of you women to lose your memory in terms of who you are. And that's one of the most sophisticated and comprehensive attacks on your humanity. You not knowing who you are. So therefore, you can't do what you're supposed to do. Because you don't even know that that's the task that's been put in you. Okay? That's why this identity is so important. Okay? And that's why so many people are lost without it. So without further ado, I'm gonna get into these 6 steps. Okay? The first step to the 6 steps of your identity. Okay? The first step is your body. Okay? The first step is your body. Okay? Now check this out. Even if you say are a born again Christian, or say you make different lifestyle changes, or you become a different person in terms of what you choose to do in your life, one thing that never changes, even within the Christian faith, even if you get born again, you still had the same body. You still had the same body. No matter how born again you are, you still had the same body. Okay? You still had the same container. You still had the same vessel. You still had the same bones and flesh. Okay? So now check this out. The body that you've been put in, okay, that's not up for debate. Okay? See, a lot of people use ideas as their identity. Okay? But ideas sometimes, the wrong ideas especially, it can trick you. Okay? But when you use your body as the basis of your identity, that's not debatable. Okay? That's not debatable. It don't matter what so-and-so think over here or what so-and-so think over here. Your body, okay, is an objective marker for what you are supposed to be, foundational. Okay? In fact, check this out. When we look at what the paleontologists do, okay, they're able to look at the bones of a creature, okay, and trace back them bones based on how much of a brain cavity there is. They can determine how intelligent the dinosaur is. They can determine how well the dinosaur could see. They can determine whether the dinosaur was social or not based on where the bones around other dinosaur bones. They can tell how fast the dinosaur ran. They can tell what type of things the dinosaur ate. They can tell all these things based on the bones, okay? Based on the bones, based on the teeth, and what the actual body was shaped like, not even putting the muscles on yet, okay? So now check this out. Because the body is the foundation for your identity, okay? Because your body is the foundation for your identity, depending on what body you have, it drastically affects what life or what life approach, okay, that you're meant to have. See, here's the thing about identity before I go on to the next step, okay? Identity, your identity ain't about you, okay? Your identity ain't about you. It is you, but it ain't about you, okay? Because you didn't bring yourself here. It wasn't your idea to be here, okay? You were brought here, okay, by an entity outside of your control and outside of your will, okay? So in order to find your identity, right? In order to find your identity, you must fall in line with what you've been given, okay? You must find what you've been given. You must refine what you've been given, okay? And you must utilize what you've been given, not what you choose. Because if you just choose what you choose, that's how you can lose your identity and who you meant to be, okay? And when you lose who you meant to be, okay, your identity will come into conflict with itself, okay? And then you'll be troubled by the choices you make within your own heart, okay? Because your body and your person knows what it's supposed to be, but you didn't make the choices for it to fulfill itself. That's why it's so important. So we starting with the body, okay? We starting with the body. The second thing we gonna lead with is your abilities, okay? We starting with the body. Now we go into abilities, okay? Now we go into abilities. Based on your abilities, that has a lot to do with your identity and who you are and what you're supposed to be doing while you're on this planet, okay? Now check this out. Based on what your abilities are, that directly determine a lot of things too, okay? That determine a lot of things too. If you 6'8" and 250 and you're not the smartest guy in the world, okay, and that's your ability, skill set, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, okay, but the things that you do in your life are going to be more gravitated towards more physical tasks, okay? So you might find yourself in the NFL. You may find yourself being a security guard. You may find yourself being some sort of fighter. You may find yourself doing physical things because of what your physical body is. Now that influences what your physical abilities are, okay? So therefore, check this out. Now you approach life that way. Now the other people that you influence, now you made a little money, you got to the NBA, you got to the NFL, okay? Now you're influencing the other young people that are physical like you and helping them get out of trouble. You see? Because of what your body is, what your ability is, now when you're getting into your purpose, okay, that directly affect what your purpose is on the earth, how you helping people. All based on what your body is and your ability. Now, if you're a piano teacher, say you built a different way, okay? Say you built a different way. Say you 5'6", okay, 130, okay? And you're not very athletic, powerful, or fast, but maybe you're really smart, or maybe you're really dexterous with your fingers, okay? Maybe you're a piano person, maybe you're an elite piano player, maybe you some sort of musician, okay? Your life approach will be different, okay? And when you run into conflicts, that will be different too, okay? Because this guy that's 6'8" and 250, all he got to do is walk up to somebody and end the conflict. All he got to do is stand in the way, be confrontational, and do what he need to do and keep the peace. Whereas this guy over here, he has to solve conflicts differently because the container he was put in. So he has to use his mind use his intelligence. You know, maybe use the fact that because he's a musician, okay, he knows how to reach people's emotions. He knows how to tug on heartstrings. So maybe he can use that to solve conflicts or solve some of his problems with that way of thinking, okay? Whereas there may be some intellectual that may be really good at debating that doesn't have the same dexterity. You know, maybe somebody else is a painter. You know, so because they're a painter, they're all about perspective and how to look at life and how to show people how to look at life. Okay, so there's different approaches to approach different things, and it's all influenced by the body that you've been given. Yet, if this guy that's built like a piano teacher, okay, if he go around trying to be in the NFL, he gonna make a hard life for himself. Okay, he gonna make a hard life for himself. He saw a TV commercial and he wanted to be like Shaq. Okay, he gonna make a hard life for himself. He gonna be very depressed. Okay, whereas the same thing, you know, over here. You got a 6'5", you know, 255 pound guy, okay? Maybe he's not the most intellectual. Maybe he is intellectual, but he get on them piano keys, okay? And he doesn't have that same sort of dexterity, okay? He gonna make a hard life for himself because he got outside of his body and his abilities, okay? And so he followed the wrong type of identity. This body and these abilities, it helped send you in the direction where you need to go, okay? It helps send you in the direction where you need to go because it's already built in, okay? See, that's the thing about identity. Your real identity is already built in. You just gotta find it. You ain't gotta go out here and look for it. It's already built in because the maker put it there, okay? And so it's who of you to find it. If you don't find it, it's gonna tell on you and you're gonna have interpersonal conflict with yourself, okay? So now check this out, okay? My next point. The next point on how to find your identity is your environment, okay? Your environment. Check this out. Based on the environment that you was put in, that's also something that's outside of your control, okay? That's also something that's outside of your control. The environment that you've been put in, okay? Say you grew up in a poor environment, okay? Say you grew up in the hood or grew up in a hard background, something like that, okay? That environment is going to shape the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. What you mean by that? I'm out the hood. I made my millions. I've grown. I developed. Okay, you might check this out. You might look at your environment, not like it, and become the opposite. The fuel and push behind you becoming the opposite is because of your environment. So your environment is still shaping you, even if you become the opposite. But if you become the same as your environment, check this out now. If you become the same as your environment, on the opposite end of the spectrum, your environment still shapes you. Either way, your environment still shapes you. Whether you become the opposite of your environment because of the problems you see in it, or you become the same as your environment. So you have to take into consideration what environment were you put in. Okay, just like when they study in the dinosaurs and whatnot, when they study in creatures and all that, what environment do they live in? You know, is it an environment where they have to be tough? Is it an environment where they don't need to be tough? Is it an environment where everybody is graceful? Is it an environment where there's dishonest people? You know, based on all of these things in your environment is going to directly affect your identity. Okay? And it's going to lead you, check this out later on, I'm gonna get to this point later. It's gonna lead you to discover what your personal responsibilities are in this world, based on what your environment is, based on what you grew up in. Okay, I'm gonna use myself as an example for a second. Okay, because there's a lot of things that I saw in my environment grow up in the suburbs and whatnot. I saw a lot of deception. I saw a lot of dishonesty. So one of the things that I want to be a very honest person. I want to be a very real person. Okay, so because so many people in my environment weren't so. Okay, so I have a responsibility to tell the truth that people in my environment didn't tell. You see, I have a responsibility. So my environment, okay, directly shaped me, even if I don't want to be the same thing as my environment. Okay, so you have to take that into consideration when you're considering what your identity is. Look at your environment. What did I come from? You know, and then check this out. Check this out. Whatever I came from, okay, That's a part of what I am. Okay, it's a part of what I am. Okay, I can take, check this out, because I know what the manipulators are like. I know how to detect the manipulators. Because I know what the non-truth is like, I know how to detect them. You see what I'm saying? So you use these things, okay, to mold into the person that you're supposed to be and fine-tune your purpose while you're on this earth.